efektów, które mam nadzieję przyczynią się do postępu w zrozumieniu nowotworów, a tym samym rozwoju leczenia, bardziej skutecznego leczenia tak.
No więc, a ja wczoraj Ci wysłałem wieczorem e-mail, który przesłał mi mój serdeczny kolega od wielu, wielu lat, profesor Mirosław Miller właśnie.
To ja jestem, dzień dobry.
To ten właśnie.
Tak, widziałem, dziękuję, oczywiście.
A co ja ci wysłałem, bo już nie pamiętam.
Nie, wysłałeś mi list intencyjny i tam propozycje, więc ja od razu to do Macieja przesłałem, bo wiem, że on działa w tych obszarach, więc dobrze, że jesteście panowie na tym panelu, to będzie może follow-up w postaci jakiegoś ciekawego projektu. O.
Z mojej strony mogę tylko podziękować i powiedzieć, że jestem wyróżniony i zaszczycony.
Macieju, to dla mnie i dla nas wszystkich zaszczyt, że taka persona jak ty chce z nami tutaj...
Nie przesadzajmy, są to przemiłe słowa, natomiast bardzo się cieszę, że tutaj możemy rozważyć jakąś współpracę.
Z pewnością będziemy rozważać. Przed nami jest jeszcze długa rozmowa, którą sobie obiecaliśmy.
Oczywiście.
Jak Mariusz zaczyna zbyt dużo miłych słów mówić, to znak, że trzeba zacząć.
Ale miałeś rację, bez krawaty jest równie przystojny.
No wiecie panowie, ja wyszedłem z założenia, że czymś trzeba pokryć swoją ignorancję, w związku z tym założyłem krawat. Mateuszu, cześć, tak się schowałeś nawet w trakcie dyskusji, cię nawet nie usłyszałem.
Witam serdecznie i tak samo jestem bardzo zaszczycony, także dzięki.
To z przyjemnością, tutaj naprawdę...
Ale bardzo ciekawe tło. Bardzo ciekawe.
Można włączyć to, co jest 3 kropki, pokaż efekty tła, tam można wybrać.
Mój niestety nie obsługuje
Przepraszam.
Już nie będziemy zmieniać. Czyli rozumiem, mówimy po angielsku, tak?
Będziemy mówić po angielsku, tak jest.
Dobrze.
Halo, dzień dobry.
Cześć Zbyszku.
Słychać mnie dobrze, widać?
Też cię widać.
Dobrze.
Mieliście okazję z Maciejem sobie porozmawiać. Tak panowie wyglądacie. Już się poznaliście. Także medycyna i automatyka, jak się okazuje, nie jest wcale tak odległa. O czym się przekonałem podczas debaty z wami.
Chciałem powiedzieć, że marynarkę mam, tylko obok.
Ja też mam obok, ale tu już panowie widzieli, że ja mam marynarkę, więc już dalej się nie będę katował. Nawet miałem krawat. Jeszcze chwilę czekamy, żeby się pozostali pozbierali, bo tutaj jesteśmy w zacnym gronie.
Rozumiem, czyli...
Mariusz, Mariusz, przepraszam, że się trącam, ale jestem na linii z Tedem i on ma kłopoty, on wysłał e-maila do Ossowskiego, pana Ossowskiego i czeka na odpowiedź. Czy możesz coś w tej materii zrobić, bo on się stara połączyć?
No ja myślę, że Włodek Ossowski nas słyszy w tej chwili, także...
No dobrze. Ted, they are aware of this, so please wait. Okay.
Andrzeju, jeżeli O, jest w trakcie rozmowy. Z kimś rozmawia. Prawdopodobnie uruchamia kontakt z profesorem Fiedorem, bo tam też były jakieś problemy. I potem zaraz będzie TED, z tego co ja
Jest.
widzę.
On czeka w tej chwili. Ja skończyłem z nim rozmowę, on czeka. Ja mu powiedziałem, że pan Osowski tam się zajmuje tym problemem, także.
Tak, w razie czego, Andrzeju, masz do Włodka Osowskiego telefon, to zadzwoń, żeby tam, bo ja już nie będę mógł
Dobra, ja
zadzwonić.
zadzwonię do niego, dobra.
Ja już nie będę mógł zadzwonić, bo już będę prowadził pana.
Tak, to właśnie próbujemy je rozwiązać. Za pół minuty wyjdziemy.
No, a jeszcze chwilę, bo tu jeszcze nie wszyscy się zebrali. Zrobiłem spotkanie, żebyśmy przetestowali łącza, żeby uniknąć takiej sytuacji, ale jakoś nam się nie udało spotkać, więc teraz próbujemy to wszystko naprawić. To panowie, to w takim razie sądzę, że tu trzeba będzie skorzystać z okazji. Mamy okazję sobie, że tak powiem, off record porozmawiać. To jest też duża rzecz. No, jest wiele ciekawych wyzwań. Teraz te wszystkie klocki trzeba poskładać. Mistrzem świata od składania takich klocków jest profesor Mirosław Miller. Mirku, podnieś rękę, żeby panowie cię widzieli, żeby wiadomo, bo to jest właśnie ta genialna postać, która nie tylko potrafiła uruchomić bardzo ciekawe projekty w Polsce, ale też zaprosić najlepszych ludzi, do jakich miał dostęp ze świata, i ci ludzie o dziwo przyjechali. Nie wiem, jakie są ich losy dalej, ale zapewne jak to w Polsce poplątamy.
Co najmniej jeden jest z nami dzisiaj tam i siedzi w Gdyni.
No, tak. Jest. Mam nadzieję też, że innym...
Notuje się i odmeldowywuje się.
No tak, Andrzej.
Zadzwoniłem do pana Osowskiego, telefon jest zajęty.
No tak, bo on prawdopodobnie rozmawia teraz z tym. No to będą sobie panowie to...
Rozmawiam właśnie w tej sprawie, o której panowie teraz mówią.
Super, Włodku. Wiemy, że nam pomagasz, wiemy.
Niepokoją się już.
Czyli spokojnie sobie czekamy na uczestników pozostałych dwóch.
Tak, dokładnie. Będziemy sobie czekać na uczestników. I tu pewnie zaraz się pojawi nam pan profesor Krysiak. Zaraz się zorientuje. Za momencik. Wy panowie prowadźcie rozmowę. Nie wiem, czy już mieliście okazję rozmawiać. Mateuszu, czy ze Zbyszkiem Szemelem już miałeś okazję rozmawiać?
Jeszcze nie, bardzo mi miło.
To warto porozmawiać, warto, żebyście panowie zadzierżnęli kontakt tą drogą.
Cześć Zbyszko, czym się zajmujesz? Zbigniewie.
Automatyką. Widzę, że masz, a ty chyba informatyką, bo masz tło.
No tak, to już widać. Główne zastosowania w medycynie i kwestie albo rozszerzonej rzeczywistości, sztucznej inteligencji, albo wirtualnej rzeczywistości. No, czasami jeszcze jakieś inne gadżety typu jakieś połączenia. To akurat to jest najprostsze urządzenie do badania EEG. No ale tak, dość dużo tego mam na biurku, dlatego łatwo mi wyciągnąć. Nie, że jakoś się przygotowywałem specjalnie, ale to są dość fajne akurat okulary AR-owe, dość tanie, ale tak nie aż tak dobre na przykład jak najnowsze HoloLensy, które też mają jakieś swoje wady, ale to nie o tym chciałem. Tylko w dużym skrócie te zastosowania w medycynie są dość fajne i o tym bym też dzisiaj chwilę pewnie mógł nadmienić.
No na pewno z przyjemnością wszyscy wysłuchamy tej informacji, bo takich przydatnych urządzeń w medycynie za wiele, zwłaszcza z Polski, nie ma, więc jeżeli mamy coś wartościowego i polskiego, to warto się temu przyjrzeć. Taka jest moja opinia, bo ja stosuję taką zasadę, nie wiem panowie, czy ją podzielacie, że zanim coś odrzucę, to najpierw chcę wiedzieć, co ja odrzucam.
Za chwilkę.
A w medycynie jedna rzecz jest najważniejsza. Nawet nie to, co odrzucamy, tylko czy to w ogóle ma sens i jak pomaga w leczeniu, w szpitalu. Jeżeli nie pomaga, no to z definicji można odrzucić.
No więc właśnie.
A jak
Także...
usprawnia, działa tak jak nasze na sali operacyjnej lepiej, no to już same plusy.
No to będą tutaj panowie chirurdzy i z pewnością uruchomimy jakieś kontakty w tym kierunku.
A tak, jeśli można, 2 zdania do zastosowań takich właśnie informatyki w medycynie, to nie zawsze tak jest proste ta ocena, że coś pomaga lub nie pomaga, bo mamy zawsze 2 bariery podstawowe. Pierwsze to jest, czy to jest legalne, czy możemy tego używać, czy to jest, powiedzmy, no, z punktu widzenia przepisów ok, a po drugie lekarze się nie chcą uczyć i po prostu wiele z tych rzeczy no, wymaga 5 minut, powiedzmy, żeby się nauczyć, a lepiej jest po prostu się nie uczyć, tak? Także to są 2 poważne bariery, jak pan pewnie lepiej wie ode mnie w tych zastosowaniach IT w medycynie.
Prawda, nie ma co. Niestety tak jest, aczkolwiek są dziedziny, które wymagają ultra szybkiego dostosowania się do bieżącej technologii tego, gdzie jesteśmy. I tu chirurgia, zwłaszcza zaawansowana chirurgia, i to nieważne, czy naczyniowa, czy jakakolwiek inna, ale wszystko, co jest związane z chirurgią i z mocnym zastosowaniem, zwłaszcza teraz bardzo modnej kwestii laparoskopowej, no to jednak daje potrzebę stosowania najnowszych technologii i te technologie, już same te podstawowe, nawet urzędy laparoskopowe, one się zmieniają na tyle szybko, że wejście też z nową technologią typu właśnie okulary rozszerzonej rzeczywistości, to jest coś, co jest przyjmowane, bo widać konkrety, czyli jak zabieg, operacja trwała godzinę, a trwa 45 minut, no to jest kluczowe.
No, to jedno jest czas, a drugie jest jakość, tak? Możliwość na przykład operowania na odległość. Jak pan zapewne wie, my we Wrocławiu mamy Da Vinci od lat i on jest niewykorzystany. Także to jest jeden z takich pięknych przykładów możliwości technicznych i wdrażania do praktyki medycznej.
Ale z drugiej strony ja widziałem Da Vinciego wielokrotnie wykorzystywanego. W Krakowie jest taki fajny szpital na Klinach. Dość mocno go stosują i rzeczywiście podczas teraz koronawirusa COVID-19 był stosowany bardzo często i to jest jeden z tych przykładów pozytywnych, kiedy
Tak
to
jest.
technologia ma konkretnie dobre zastosowanie.
My w Polsce mamy właściwie jednego takiego producenta urządzeń telemedycznych, to jest ProPlus warszawski, ja znam ich od wielu lat i też właśnie jestem w kontakcie z właścicielem, on mówi, że takiej w tej chwili ilości zapytań i zamówień, jakie miał przez 3 miesiące, to nie miał przez 10 lat. Także to na pewno jest bardzo duży plus, nie tylko w Polsce zresztą, tak? W Stanach Zjednoczonych też przecież są duże bariery w stosowaniu telemedycyny, właśnie prawne i to też się w tej chwili zmienia.
Zgadza się. Aczkolwiek o ProPlus też nam jest znany. Wspólnie zakładaliśmy, już nie pamiętam w którym roku, ale jakiś czas temu, telemedyczną grupę roboczą, która miała za cel właśnie propagowanie telemedycyny. Wtedy było to uznawane za fanaberię i coś, co raczej sensu większego nie ma, skoro i tak możemy przebadać pacjenta na miejscu. Tego typu epidemia weryfikuje to bardzo szybko i nagle się okazało, że nie ma żadnych obostrzeń do tego, żeby zacząć ją stosować. Nagle się okazuje, że pomaga i jest dokładnie tak, jak pan mówi, czyli jest ilość zapytań rośnie 3-krotnie w stosunku do tego, co było wcześniej.
Ja się może pochwalę, że pierwsza sieć e-zdrowie powstała we Wrocławiu w 2004 roku. I to właśnie troszkę ja się do tego przyczyniłem, takim projektem jeszcze wtedy przed akcesją do Unii Europejskiej. No i to się przekształciło później w taką wielką firmę Data Technopark, która ma najlepszą infrastrukturę telemedyczną w Polsce. No i firma zbankrutowała, bo rząd nie wprowadził informatyzacji służby zdrowia, to było pod to szykowane. No i teraz jest to centrum technologii po prostu cyberbezpieczeństwa, a nie medycyny.
Potwierdzam, było tak. No ja też pamiętam te czasy. W 2008 roku zaczynałem telemedycynę, było uznawane to dokładnie za mocną fanaberię i używanie telefonu komórkowego wspólnie z jakimś elektrokardiografem czy czymkolwiek innym było uznawane już naprawdę za mocno zaawansowane stany przeciążenia umysłowego, ponieważ no, kto rozsądny będzie korzystał właśnie z telefonu komórkowego do leczenia pacjentów. Nawet wtedy, pamiętam, w 2008 zarejestrowałem domenę aplikację na receptę i okazuje się, że to teraz jest modne.
No ale minęło parę lat.
No 12, to jest dużo.
No
Ja
owszem.
zacząłem siwieć poważnie, także no tak, no takie życie.
No właśnie. Szkoda, że nie mamy tej zdolności, żeby wykorzystywać, chwytać w lot dobre pomysły naukowe jeszcze i szybko je wdrażać i szybko je przekształcać w aplikacje. No, tu u nas droga jest długa, jak pokazuje przykład Mateusza, wynosi około 12 lat. To jest tragedia. To jest rzecz, która nigdy nie powinna mieć miejsca. Ale to wynika moim zdaniem z tego, że po prostu ludzie, kiedy to jest takie szerokie aplikowanie, to nikt nie chce zmieniać tego, co już funkcjonuje. Niech to funkcjonuje najgorzej, ale niech to funkcjonuje, no bo żeśmy już za to zapłacili, to działa, więc niechęć przed zmianami jest dramatyczna. Natomiast nie mamy czegoś takiego jak poletko doświadczalne. Czegoś takiego nie ma i to jest nam bardzo potrzebne, żeby duże instytucje wydzieliły przynajmniej takie działy, które mogą powiedzieć, kurczę, na dużą skalę to działa albo nie działa. Też by było bardzo fajnie.
Tak, ale chodzi o...
Prawda, no ale to też przykład w drugą stronę, czyli 3 lata temu, 4 lata temu, w 2016 w grudniu prezentowałem właśnie rozszerzoną rzeczywistość dla 2000 kardiologów i potem mieliśmy spotkanie z 12 najlepszymi takimi sławami ogólnoświatowymi. No i wtedy powiedziano, że taką rozszerzoną rzeczywistość 10 powiedziało, że po 10 latach może zaczniemy korzystać. Jedna osoba powiedziała, że może po 5, a jedna mnie wsparła i powiedziała, nie przejmuj się, będziemy to teraz wdrażać. Ja jestem bardzo pozytywnie nastawiony i wydaje mi się, że wcześniej niż po roku zaczniemy to używać. I efekt był taki, że pierwszą operację wykonaliśmy, pierwszy zabieg już, bo to było w maju i to był jeden z pierwszych na świecie. Bardzo szeroko się odbiło to później w prasie kardiologicznej jako takie dość mocne zastosowanie, bo to był ten przykład, kiedy właśnie starsza osoba, pacjent, który miał problemy, kontrast przez serce przyszedł za szybko i nie było widoczne mocno tak dobrze, jak powinno być, jak jest wykonywany zabieg. I ten zabieg bez okularów w rozszerzonej rzeczywistości trwałby mniej więcej 1,5 godziny. Było duże zagrożenie, że pacjent musiałby być albo przerwany zabieg, albo jeszcze raz zaaplikowany kontrast. A przez to, że były okulary, udało się zrobić szybciej i ani nie była konieczna aplikacja. A wiadomo, że taka starsza osoba, zwłaszcza akurat w tym przypadku, miała dość duże problemy z nerkami i bardzo mocno zastanawiali się, czy konkretne zastosowanie tych czynności nie spowoduje jakichś później komplikacji. A tak to okazało się, że nie dość, że fajnie potem wyszło w prasie, bo udowodniliśmy coś, to jeszcze dość szybko, bo po tych paru miesiącach mieliśmy już dowód na to, że to działa i to działa z dużym sukcesem. Także szczęście, jak to mówił mój ulubiony, to jest moje ulubione stwierdzenie, nauczyłem się od jednego z profesorów, jednego z doktorów, który powiedział, że Mateusz, nie przejmuj się, każdy problem to jest szansa w przebraniu i to strasznie mi pomaga teraz.
Bardzo mądrze powiedziane. Jeżeli ze swojej strony mogę coś dołożyć, to bardzo dobre laboratorium właśnie takiej wirtualnej rzeczywistości w Poznaniu stworzył profesor Wojciech Celary na naszym Uniwersytecie Ekonomicznym, gdzie oni są w stanie modelować wiele ciekawych rzeczy. A z drugiej strony, jeśli chodzi o telemedycynę, to nasz Uniwersytet Medyczny we współpracy z ośrodkiem z PCSS-em stworzył, czyli jednym z ośrodków poligowych, tak, stworzył bardzo fajną rzecz, gdzie zainstalowano na bloku operacyjnym 3 kamery umożliwiające rejestrację obrazu 3D, tak? I te obrazy są rejestrowane, tak? i podczas operacji główny chirurg wygląda tak jak tutaj my na Skype'ie, czyli słuchawki, mikrofon, tak? I jest to wpuszczane, mówiąc kolokwialnie, w świat, tak? Czyli zabieg operacyjny jest transmitowany w jakości 3D, przy pomocy 3 profesjonalnych kamer 3D i rozdzielczości 4K do 8K, tak? I jest to transmitowane na cały świat i każdy można to zobaczyć i podłączyć się w czasie zabiegu operacyjnego, zadawać pytania, tak? Główny operator, operując pacjenta, mówi po kolei to, co wykonuje, tak? Tu otwieramy pacjentowi, na przykład przecinamy skórę, tak? Odsuwamy to i tak dalej, i tak dalej. I no jest to coś niebywałego. I sami chirurdzy przyznają, to jest klinika laryngologii u nas w Poznaniu, po obejrzeniu rejestracji tych zapisów 3D, 4 czy nawet 8K, przy dużej rozdzielczości, krótko mówiąc, że oni widzą dużo więcej, tak, niż pochylają się nad polem operacyjnym. Także no, jest to, myślę, no, duża przyszłość.
Myśmy to zastosowali bo HoloLensy mają to do siebie, że jak się zakłada je na głowę, mają taki zestaw kamer i ten zestaw kamer jest różnego rodzaju. To jest kamery od 3D po właśnie zwykłe kamery i takie kooperacyjne ustawienie właśnie kamer zwykłych plus to, co było widać bezpośrednio z HoloLensów przez 2 lekarzy wykonujących tą operację, bo to było na otwartym sercu i to była hybrydowa operacja, czyli cewnikowanie plus właśnie zastosowanie przy otwartym sercu, to pierwszy raz też właśnie już chyba w 2017 roku wysyłaliśmy taki zabieg do szeregu uczelni w Polsce i efekt jest jeszcze też ciekawszy, ponieważ studenci widzieli bezpośrednio, tak jak z oczu wykonującego zabieg, wszystko to, co on robi w tym momencie i widzieli, jak często rusza głową góra-dół, jak często musi patrzeć na boki, nie tylko patrząc się na to, co wykonuje w danym momencie. To strasznie dużo było ciekawych takich wniosków.
To jest ciekawe rozwiązanie, tak.
No ale to...
Tak, nasze centrum superkomputerowe jest bardzo zaangażowane w rozwijanie tego typu technologii. Założone jeszcze przez pana profesora Węglarza, tak, teraz kontynuowane i naprawdę robią tam wiele fajnych rzeczy. Jeśli właśnie chodzi o telemedycynę, jak i też wizualizację struktur anatomicznych w formie takiej, że można wejść w okularach na przykład i śledzić naczynia, które zapatrują mózg. Tak? I oglądać je jak na żywo, tak? I to obserwować.
To jest niesamowite, bo akurat w tej nowej firmie, którą teraz zacząłem, to zajmuję się właśnie kwestiami rehabilitacji osób z wszelkimi schorzeniami neurologicznymi i tam właśnie tego typu wiedza jest kluczowa, więc bardzo jestem zainteresowany tą wiedzą, bo zwłaszcza podczas leczenia osób po wylewach wszelkie tego typu zdarzenia są, poznanie jak później pracuje mózg jest kluczowe, więc to jest przefajna sprawa. Jakbym później mógł prosić o kontakt, to wydaje mi się, że dużo bym się nauczył w tej sprawie.
Pozwolę sobie tutaj wtrącić prywatny komentarz, ponieważ jestem obecnie w domu mojego brata, który 3 tygodnie temu miał udar krwotoczny, tak? I ja tutaj go wspieram w konwalescencji. Bardzo tutaj wrócił do siebie. Po usunięciu 8-centymetrowego krwiaka, tak? Także doskonale to rozumiem. Bardzo ważne zagadnienie.
Mariusz, a propos tego tematu, dzisiaj miał być z nami profesor Nowiński, prawda?
Profesor Nowiński zapowiadał się, że będzie, ale się nie będzie ujawniał. powiedział, że on jest już tak, no, ma jakieś takie doświadczenia, które spowodują, że nie chce występować.
No bo nie wiem, czy pan Mateusz zna nazwisko, to jest Polak, który 30 lat spędził na Uniwersytecie w Singapurze, jest autorem ponad 30 atlasów mózgu, które polegają właśnie
Słyszałem,
na...
to jest ta...
To jest ten
Wiesław Nowicki. No i on jest w Polsce od kilku lat.
Witamy pana profesora Zbigniewa Krysiaka. Panie profesorze, jeszcze mamy problemy. Jeszcze jeden panelista od 15 minut przy pomocy pełnego wsparcia nie może się zalogować. Więc walczymy. Jeszcze nie wiem, czy Włodek możesz nam dać update, jak to wygląda i dlaczego my czekamy tak długo na profesora Fiedora.
Ja tutaj widzę same znakomite postacie, to eksperci, prawda, czołowi eksperci od akurat tego tematu.
Jest pan profesor, jest Piotr, witam. Bardzo mi miło, no to żeśmy pokonali.
Dobrze, udało się, tak?
Cieszę się niezmiernie.
Cieszę się, że udało się.
Dobrze.
Możemy się rozłączyć telefonicznie, bo już pan jest widoczny.
No dobrze.
I na spotkaniu, i na YouTubie.
Dobra, dziękuję bardzo. Jeszcze raz za pomoc. Dzień dobry. Czy jestem słyszalny, czy nie bardzo?
Słyszalny doskonale, natomiast proponuję, żeby obniżyć ekran, bo dużo sufitów widać nad tobą.
Dzień dobry jeszcze raz. Chciałem spytać, czy jestem
Słychać doskonale. Słychać
tak,
doskonale.
dobrze, dziękuję Panie Włodzimierzu. Dziękuję bardzo.
Proponuję tylko, żeby obniżyć ekran, bo dużo sufitu jest nad głową.
Nad moją głową, tak?
Tak.
Dużo sufitu.
Tak,
tak będzie dobrze?
Ale genialnie, super, doskonale.
Dobrze, przepraszam, ale miałem kłopoty z połączeniem się, nie wiem dlaczego, ponieważ korzystam z różnych systemów i Webexa i różnych innych, Zooma i również Microsoft Team, ale no nie udało mi się połączyć, dopiero przy pomocy pana Włodzimierza mi się udało to zrobić, także przepraszam za spóźnienie w dołączeniu do zespołu, ale już jestem, także jest okej. Dziękuję.
Bardzo się cieszę, to oddaję głos panu profesorowi Zbigniewowi Krysiakowi.
Jakiś, panie Mariuszu, pogłos jest.
U mnie jest pogłos.
Znaczy nie wiem u kogo.
Może
bądźcie dobrze, proszę państwa. Tak, trzeba może było wyłączyć na chwilę mikrofony. Witam państwa serdecznie i bardzo dziękuję, że mogliście panowie, jak widzę, w zasadzie tak, panowie są tutaj, żadnej pani nie mamy w tym panelu, przybyć. No jak wiem, też zdążyłem się zorientować, znakomici eksperci w tym temacie, który dzisiaj poruszamy. I to dzisiaj tak się składa, że to jest ostatni 5. tydzień i ostatni dzień właśnie Europejskiego Festiwalu Schumana, gdzie dyskutowaliśmy w 17 tematach, w 60 panelach, spotkaniach panelowych, 220 prelegentów, kilkadziesiąt tysięcy uczestników poprzez transmisje na różne portale, które robimy, jak i również tutaj no taki można powiedzieć bardzo pozytywna i szybka reakcja różnych środowisk dotycząca no takich pewnych już konkretnych propozycji podejmowania czy implementowania pewnych spraw w praktyce. I tutaj też w ramach tego tematu, który jest w tym panelu numer 8, takie zagadnienia ważne dla technologii. Dzisiaj państwo będziecie mówili o przemyśle właśnie medycznym, o problemach związanych z tym. Bardzo dziękuję panu Mariuszowi właśnie, że tak wspaniale prowadzi to i że jest no taki, ma znakomity potencjał relacyjny, że tutaj w tym gronie od początku pojawiają się, są specjaliści z różnych części świata, również ze Stanów Zjednoczonych, z MIT, prawda, i z różnych środowisk też biznesowych. Proszę państwa, chciałem jakby oficjalnie przeczytać list od pana premiera Mateusza Morawieckiego, który jest patronem honorowym tego festiwalu, Przesłał on list na rozpoczęcie festiwalu 9 maja, no i bardzo szybko to przebiegało. Dotarliśmy do końca. 7 czerwca również otrzymaliśmy list od pana premiera i chciałem teraz właśnie go odczytać. Szanowni Państwo, dobiega dziś końca wyjątkowe wydarzenie skupiające ludzi, dla których troska o przyszłość naszej europejskiej wspólnoty to nie tylko słowa. I choć w dobie pandemii koronawirusa 4. Europejski Festiwal Schumana odbywał się wyjątkowo za pośrednictwem łączy internetowych, jestem przekonany, że nie opuszczało Państwa poczucie dumy z współuczestnictwa w tym cennym projekcie. Z satysfakcją objąłem festiwal patronatem honorowym. Wszystkim Państwu raz jeszcze przekazuję wyrazy mojego głębokiego szacunku. Świadectwem siły i sukcesu festiwalu jest kilkadziesiąt tysięcy uczestników i tutaj pan premier pisze dokładnie i ponad 100 prelegentów. Właśnie policzyliśmy dokładnie i mamy na dzisiaj około 220 prelegentów, którzy przez 5 tygodni brali udział w licznych debatach panelowych. Nie liczby są tu jednak najważniejsze. Statystyka nie odda przecież głębi refleksji czy odwagi idei formułowanych podczas tych spotkań. Bogaci w wiedzę i doświadczenie podjęliście Państwo misji poszukiwania odpowiedzi na najbardziej aktualne wyzwania, przed którymi stoją narody naszego kontynentu. Przez kolejne tygodnie omawialiście Państwo kwestie o żywotnym znaczeniu dla Polski i Europy. Wiem, że wśród nich były tematy związane z mechanizmami wspierającymi walkę z pandemią i jej skutkami gospodarczymi. Były także te dotyczące tak potrzebnej dzisiaj solidarności i jej roli w kreowaniu przyszłości kontynentu. Zaledwie tydzień temu udowodniliśmy, że głos Polski w Europie jest słyszany, uwzględniany i doceniany. Według wstępnych propozycji Komisji Europejskiej będziemy jednym z głównych beneficjentów netto Unijnego Funduszu Odbudowy Gospodarczej. Wierzę, że w duchu porozumienia i poczucia odpowiedzialności za wspólne dobro, wartości dla Roberta Schumana podstawowych, wypracujemy korzystne dla nas wszystkich rozwiązania. Szanowni Państwo, pragnę podziękować organizatorom i tym, których postawa przyczyniła się do sukcesu tego przedsięwzięcia. Szczególne jednak podziękowania składam panelistom, którzy stanowili o jego wyjątkowości. Wierzę, że wnioski z obrad 4. Europejskiego Festiwalu Schumana przyniosą nowe inspiracje do dalszej pracy na rzecz naszych obywateli. Z wyrazami szacunku, Mateusz Morawiecki. Dziękuję Państwu za uwagę.
Bardzo dziękuję. Because of our topic, international relations, I would allow me to switch to English. And we are waiting now for connecting our friend and professor of MIT, Ted Kochański. He has some technical problems. But I would say let's start now this session. It is the last session, 4th chapter of panel 8. And panel 8 was devoted to the topic how to make our economy proof against diseases, against global problems. And today we start with a very significant problem. It means medicine and everything what is related with medicine, the technologies around medicine, and every network of connections, and e-medicine is also the topic of our meeting today. We have here excellent panelists and excellent audience. And because of the significance of this problem for the well-being of Polish nation, we have a broad audience here in Poland, and I know our session is being transmitted to abroad. And let me start at the beginning to express my pleasure and privilege to welcome members of Polish European Parliaments, excellencies, ambassadors of Polish diplomacy, prominent representatives of Polish noble families like Czartoryski, Zamoyski, and Michalski, rectors and professors of universities, prison nuns, officers of Polish Army, presidents of companies and organizations, and I'm proud to have here you all, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm proud to moderate this panel for you. The background of this topic of our panel is international cooperation. The focus of that panel today is medicine, is e-medicine, and every related technologies. And other example of that science domain, we have invited honored panelists, and they will highlight the problem of our Polish ability, does it exist or not exist, to take advantage of Polish international relations in that area. By the way, it's worth to mention that there are 4 or 5 sectors which are leading in every sector in relation to high tech. And my experience is, when you are looking for solving the problems you cannot find somewhere in medicine, you should look up at in the area of defense. When you don't find this in the area of defense, you can find it in the area of space. When you don't find it there, so I think it is advisable to look at this in the area of toys. And I stay in touch with many scientists in the world, and they say to me, Mariusz, you cannot imagine, but even in the toy area where you are producing the toys for children, you can find excellent solutions which can be applied in the field of defense or in the field of space. It is really amazing, but it is the fact. We want to have a broad debate on the impact of science transfer to Poland, where some significant issues will be addressed, from healing methods until technologies. And you can ask the people, for what reason do we want such cooperation with abroad? When you talk to some people, to some scientist groups in Poland about international cooperation, you will get the answer: "Oh, we don't need it. We are good enough, and we are excellent. We are on the same level, and they don't bring us nothing." May I ask you to show the evidence and the difference between the situation we had 20 years ago, when we didn't have this cooperation with abroad, with scientific centers like MD Anderson or others in the United States, and how was the death rate of cancer death in Poland, and what has changed after we introduced this international cooperation? That's the question to our medicine doctors, they are with us, and maybe you can explain why, for what reason are we doing this panel, and why it is not only significant, but it is crucial for achieving and keeping a certain level of Polish medicine. And the next, it is I would say let us inform, and we are going now slowly to the presentations, and for today the keynote speech has prepared Professor Maciej Wisnerowicz from International Institute of Molecular Oncology. He is on the top level of research of cancer genome, and Mr. Professor Maciej Wisnerowicz, he's in the organizations, international, very well connected, and he has excellent overview about the situation. What would be the advantage? Can we take the advantage of international cooperation, or should we feel satisfied with cooperation only inside of Poland? Mr. Professor Wisnerowicz, dear Maciej, please, the space, the virtual space, is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mariusz, and it's a my great privilege to be here and share my experience with international cooperation. I'll just start with saying a few words about myself. I was fortunate to finish medical school here in Poznań, Poland. It's a medical degree. And my PhD thesis followed soon after, and then I left native Poland to gain a postdoctoral experience first in Switzerland, in Geneva and Lausanne, in University of Geneva, and then technical school EPFL in Lausanne when I worked in genetic engineering. Then I have the few years experience in pharmaceutical company, and was hired by Merck Research Laboratories in Boston for 3 years to lead a biomarker program focused to develop drugs and diagnostic tests for cancer. And after 10 years abroad, I decided to come back to Poland. And again, I was fortunate and lucky to be one of the few recipients of FNP Welcome Grant, which really enabled coming back from after such a long time to Poland and set up my own laboratory and start working on what I like, what is my passion, work on cancer. And here I would like to show you how we can leverage, or how I was able to leverage experience from working abroad and transferring some of the work cultures, work ethics here, and establish international collaboration projects that are successful over the last 10 years. I have the only question I have is how can I show my screen to show the presentation in Microsoft Teams?
And it is a banner inside when you move your cursor, and you see the screen with with an arrow, yes, with an arrow, and when you switch, you have two choices. One choice is switch the screen, share the screen, or share the document. Please take the second option, share the document.
I don't see that. I see only we need permission to share your screen, go to security, privacy, screen recording, to give permission and start sharing. And I go there and nothing happens.
Zbyszek, you had this experience?
Yes, but I have also a possibility only to share my window, my screen, but not the PowerPoint, for example.
Okay, I hope we can get the assistance from Włodzimierz Rzesowski. Oh, there is something on the screen.
No, it's mine, I think.
It is yours.
Yeah. I was testing.
Włodek, can we ask you for your support? Włodek? Okay, no problem. Let's go on with the presentation, and you will send us this. Oh yeah, it is something. Oncogenic progression.
Don't worry. I've got it.
Okay.
Moment. So can you see my presentation? Can you
Yes.
see my? Okay, very good. No, it's fast. All right, so let's keep it this way. So I work with cancer, and we try to understand cancer. And for me, as a medical doctor, it's important to understand the disease, to develop the means to cure it. And cancer is a genetic disease, and it was discovered first over 100 years ago by Italian researcher Boveri, who found that cancers all have different chromosomes than normal cells. Cancer cells have different chromosomes than normal cells. By then, he discovered that actually the cause of cancer sits in genes and in genomes. And then over the next 100 years, it was due to the development of understanding of cell biology and molecular biology, selected features or selected genomic aberrations were discovered to be cause of cancer. And what was a breaking through, it was a very simple fact that actually cancer is not an innovator. Cancer abuses cellular proteins called proto-oncogenes, the proteins that normally are responsible for very important mechanisms in normal cells, and abuse them through mutations, through other genomic aberrations, to accelerate its growth. And the first discovery is that the cellular genes, the normal proteins that normally works in our cells, are responsible for cancer progression. So, advancing through the years, in 2005, as I'm sure everybody is familiar with Human Genome Project, which was a great undertaking, a great achievement with the goal to understand the normal human genome, to sequence it and to know its composition. Then the follow-up was to understand cancer through sequencing the cancer cells and understanding its biology, its roots and cause of the disease. And the premises were as follows: the cancer is a genetic disease, and it's a highly heterogeneous disease, right? We can understand, or we can classify tumors, let's say, by the tissue of origin. So we can say brain tumor, we can say breast cancer, gastric cancer, and so forth. Importantly, cancer is an understandable disease. So by doing basic research, we can understand how it works. And the systemic understanding would have a major implication and will enable us with tools how to combat cancer. Right? So we can develop novel therapies, which will be more specific, more effective, and we can develop diagnostic assays and tests how to classify or stratify patients for the therapies. And indeed, over the last 20 years, a number of genes, and I don't want to go into details of this cancer biology here, but a number of genes, through those advancements of molecular biology and technologies based on sequencing of genes or sequencing of RNA, enable us to identify genes that are indeed responsible for cancer progression and growth. And now a number of drugs or chemical molecules are designed to target or switch off activity of the proteins encoded by those genes, and basically by switching them off, stop cancer from growing. Moving fast forward, the project called TCGA, the Cancer Genome Atlas, was initiated in 2008 and started in 2010. And this project was aimed to understand cancer through sequencing its genomes. This was a very ambitious undertaking with the goal, with the aim to understand the genomics of 30 tumor types, and in order to do this, for each tumor types, the goal was to obtain 500 or 1,000 patients samples of tumors from those patients. This is a breast cancer, which was one of the first we were able to understand the genomics. And again, I don't want to go into details of this, and a number of very good publications were produced from this project, and they're all publicly available. And the beauty of this project, since it was funded fully by the federal government of the United States, namely National Institutes of Health and National Cancer Institute, all of this data are publicly available since it was funded by the public money. So the publication are open source, and we are extremely proud to be a part of the bottom 5 publication published in a very good journals. So meaning that the surgeons, pathologists, molecular biologists from Poland participating in this project, which I was privileged to coordinate, were co-authors in those prestigious publications. So we moved forward, and about 2015, I started the project to understand cancer deeper, and since we had a vast number of genomic data sets that were present in numbers, we thought, okay, it's too much for human brain to comprehend and to process. So we apply artificial intelligence, and we created a term AI cancer as a model of machine learning applied to understand cancer from all of those data created by the TCGA, by the Cancer Genome Atlas. And not only to understand, but also to propose a very novel idea that as researchers in the 80s discovering that the normal cellular genes by mutations and deletions can acquire malicious functions and propagate cancer growth, here we propose a very novel mechanism that actually, again, tumor is not an innovator, but it basically hijacks embryonic mechanisms. By embryonic mechanisms, I mean those that are active in embryonic development during pregnancy, before birth. So here we have a simple example that stem cells the embryonic stem cells that are present in the blastocyst just before implantation, all the cells, the stem cells, they give rise to all the tissues present in our body. They differentiate, miracles happen, and new life, new human spring to life, and contain all the differentiated cells, right? So we have one vector, one direction that we go from cells which can develop to all specialized differentiated cells in the body. So it's similar to educational system, right? We have school kids, right, who can be anyone. Then they differentiate, then become, some of them become professors, some of them become, teachers, workers, and so on and so forth. And this process usually go into one direction, right? Meaning that it's very difficult to differentiate a professor to the to the kindergarten kind of child, right? So when we have a cancer, when you have cells that are differentiated in the body, those cells, then when the cancer is formed, they basically go back in time and they differentiate, right? So basically they acquire features that are present in the embryonic development. So cancer, for its progression, right, turn the cells back to the cells that are present in a very origin of our life, those stem cells or embryonic stem cells in the embryo, since those mechanisms are important for cancer to grow, right? So when we have embryonic development, the cancer divides, the cancer grows, the cells grow, the cells move, differentiate, so on and so forth. And the same we have in the cancer cells. When the cells in the tumor, in the primary tumor first grow, they form the tumor in the site of origin, say be it a breast cancer or a skin cancer, or so on and so forth. Then those cells acquire ability to move and form metastases in distant bodies. So we created a multinational project, which I was privileged to coordinate, and it was fun to do. It was we had a kind of a virtual project coordinated from Poland, and then we progress our research through the very same meetings which we have right now, and meeting each week through teleconference. So we use basically machine learning to understand embryonic stem cells and understand how much cancer cells resemble, how we can detect embryonic features in cancer cells. And this research was published 2 years ago in a good journal. And I would like to show you this because this is an example of very good collaboration. Most of us never met before. And through like 2-3 years, we met weekly through teleconferences, WebEx or Teams or Zoom, whatever we had. As you can see, a number of Polish universities we have Nęcki here, we have Warsaw University of Medicine, we have Poznań University of Medicine, and so on and so forth, collaborating with top American research institutions like Henry Ford, Harvard, Stanford, and others. Right? It was cool. It was a very good exercise and a very good spirit. So then we moved from TCGA in 2018 to another project, but very similar. The goal of TCGA was to understand cancer genomics, so to understand mutation in cancer genes. Then we focused to understand proteins, and the proteins encoded by those genes, because the proteins are very close to the tumor phenotypes. So we again create a network of collaborators, and very similarly, I'm also coordinating here in Poland, where we engaged a number of hospitals to enroll patients into this clinical research project, obtain their tissues, tumor tissues, clinical data, pathology annotation. Then those samples, along with data, are being sent to the United States, where they have capabilities to quickly process them. Huge genomic sequencing center, huge proteomic sequencing center, and what is the most importantly is that we are not only a source of the tumor tissue, but then we come back and actively participate in the analysis of those data sets. So we sit together with our oncology surgeons and collaborators from the US and try to understand all of those data sets obtained. So here is the list of the hospitals that are actively engaged in this project. So I'm very privileged to collaborate with almost 12 or we have here 11 institutions from Poznań, Warsaw, Katowice, Sosnowiec, Szczecin, Zielona Góra and others that are very specialized in different tumor types. And the very first results from those projects were having already published. And what is we are extremely proud of that the surgeons and investigators from those hospitals are also, as you can see, co-authors on these very good papers. Right, so here are the surgeons from Wrocław, from DCO, from Dolnośląskie Centrum Onkologii, very good oncology surgeons and very smart investigators. Here we have, so here is genomic optogenomic, how we call it, analysis of endometrioid carcinoma. Here is a kidney cancer for Poland. We have also surgeons from Poland. Here is also one of the consortium we participated. And I would like to end with the very short movie animation displaying the idea behind our work and also showing the strength of international collaboration where Poland here was playing a coordinating role, which I am extremely proud of. So I will just start this movie. And this movie was also made in Poland. It was made by our cable television in Poznań. Here it is. Can you see it? The movie was. Do you see the movie?
Not exactly. Maybe when you start. Oh yes, it is something. Yes.
So it's produced in Poland, Poznań, by our local cable.
An embryo is formed.
Of course, it's sharpened behind.
A blastocyst that is ready to implant in the uterus, initiating pregnancy. Embryonic stem cells can be isolated from the blastocyst and grown in culture for long periods of time. They can be differentiated in the laboratory into the progenitors and mature cells that form all tissues and organs of the human body. During a lifetime, healthy cells are exposed to various factors, many external, that may introduce mutations into their genomes, disturbing their normal behavior. Such events can eventually lead to formation of a tumor at that site in the body. Aggressive cancer cells acquire additional oncogenic features and move from the initial primary tumors to blood vessels. They migrate in the bloodstream to distant organs. Upon finding a new world for colonization in a distant organ, the cancer cells leave the bloodstream and invade the new site. There they form metastases that are even more undifferentiated than the primary tumor. When differentiated cancer cells acquire mutations, they may de-differentiate in a process called oncogenic de-differentiation. The tumors are usually classified by histology, reflecting their origin that guides clinical decisions on treatment of cancer patients. Sometimes, such mutations are acquired by stem and progenitor cells, leading to very aggressive forms of cancer. Like normal embryonic stem cells, cancer stem cells perpetuate themselves through self-renewal and give rise to new cell populations. The difference is that the new populations are now cancerous, not healthy. Being able to identify and target stem-like cancer cells could help produce more effective treatments. Researchers from different countries and research disciplines, mathematicians, bioinformaticians, statisticians, biologists, and clinicians have come together to understand stemness features of cancer cells. They created a virtual network that spans over continents and time zones and analyzed aberrations in the DNA, chromatin, RNA, and proteins of 33 tumor types. They took advantage of a large cancer dataset from the Cancer Genome Atlas project and other large-scale genomic projects. The TCGA Pan-Cancer Project was devoted to understanding different hallmarks of cancer by identification of the similarities and differences among the genomic and cellular alterations in 12,000 samples obtained from patients' tumors. The project was jointly coordinated by the National Cancer Institute and National Human Genome Research Institute of the U.S. National Institutes of Health. The researchers used machine learning, sometimes also called artificial intelligence, to extract stemness features from normal embryonic cells and their progenitors. They then trained computer models to identify similar features in cancer cells from more than 30 tumor types. The progression of a cancer is associated with progressive loss of its memory of its tissue of origin and acquisition of a stem cell-like phenotype through the process of dedifferentiation. That is, oncogenesis hijacks molecular mechanisms of embryonic development and abuses them to promote malignant progression. From this study, we have learned much more about how cancer can reflect a dark side of processes that operate in normal stem cells.
The Pan-Cancer program was a unique enterprise that encouraged multidisciplinary collaboration across countries and time zones, aimed to understand various hallmarks of cancer by taking advantage of coherent TCGA datasets. In our project, we train machine learning algorithm on stemness features extracted from normal cells and use it to interrogate molecular profiles of cancer cells obtained from 12,000 tumors. We applied this methodology to show that cancer abuses cellular mechanisms that are active in normal development for its oncogenic progression and formation of metastases. I strongly believe that the results of our work may pave the way for novel therapies triggering cellular differentiation of solid tumors, or can be used to stratify cancer patients for immunotherapies with stem cell-based vaccines.
Okay, so this was the video abstract that accompanied our paper in Cell describing those findings, and it was one of the very few papers published in Cell that was coordinated out of Poland. And I'm first of all very proud to be part of all of those initiatives, and also very thankful for the kind invitation to this very nice meetings. If there is any experience we can share, I will be happy to do so. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maciej, for your presentation. You have delivered us clear evidence that we have something in the scientific field to offer to our external partner, and it sounds very promising. Thank you for showing us that film, because as old rules say that one picture shows us more than 1,000 or 2,000 words, and it was really very placative. And thank you for your introduction and presentation. May I ask for your opinion, Mr. Professor Piotr Fiedor? What, in your opinion, can we offer from the scientific point of view to our international partner? I think it is very important to have something to offer them, because the relation between the partner, it should be not a one-way highway. It must be the highway in two directions. One direction is from Poland to abroad and from abroad to Poland. And in that case, there are a precognition for good relations, not only scientific relations. It can be easily applied for family relations. What do you think, Mr. Professor Fiedor? What is our advantage? What can we offer to our international partners? Excuse me, one word introduction. Professor Piotr Fiedor is a leading person in the field of scientific research in Europe. He is a representative of Warsaw Medical University, international expert in rare diseases, and international expert in very precisely dedicated medicine to personal medicine in Europe. And we met as you were EMA, European Medicine Agency in London, representative of Poland for more than 10 years, when I am not wrong with the years. And Mr. Professor, it is our pleasure to welcome you here, and please take position to my questions. Thank you.
All right. Mariusz, thank you very much for inviting me to this important meeting for Schumann Festival. So I would like to say that this presentation is very, very nice, but we should back to the definition. What is international cooperation between scientists, and also if you look at to the future for pharmaceutical companies, so big pharma. So the interaction of groups of the person representing various nations in the pursuit of the common goal of interest. So if you would like to talk about international cooperation, including any fields, so we have to know that our research starts from the R&D. So R&D is the pure research, pure science, and then we should develop some products which could be introduced to the as a medicinal products to the health system. So, of course, we have looked to the pharmaceutical company, big pharma, which are waiting for some products. I would like to say that we have a very good example many years ago, which product, medicinal product, immunological product, changed where. If you remember, so we had many years ago problems with Medycyna disease. Medycyna disease was a big problem on the world. So Polish scientist, Professor Koprowski, he was developed vaccine. This vaccine changed where. So this is the first ATMP, advanced therapy medicinal product, which changed whole world. So if you look at the world, so we should say, do we have any products right now? Do we have any science which we would like to introduce to different system, international system, to change something? So where we are and what you would like to do if you look at the Polish side on the world. So I think I would like to focus to two different big program which we develop right now. One of this is a personalized medicine program. There's the International Personalized Medicine Program, ICPERMED, which was developed a few years ago. And this program has a focus to the oncology. So this system, which show us Professor Wisnerowicz, is very, very friendly. So ML system is developed very fast right now for the in the rare disease, for example. So we have a hard data from the patients, we have hard data from the science, we have hard data from the of course different medicinal products, how it works, what is a problem with treatment, and then we can recognize and we can save money. If we have a big population, we can recognize who is probably, we can choose some patients who have to be treated, if you look at the oncology, rare disease, on different diseases. So where we are, if we see to the map different European countries, I didn't say in a word, that's European countries, we don't have any medicinal products, including generics. We don't have any products in a European system. So European Medicinal Agency, if you look at to the some system which is approved new products, Poland has problem to introduce new product. So what is the problem? Why we have this problem? This problem is, of course, closed with the system like R&D. So research and development is a very important issue which we have to develop right now to be involved with international system. Scientists has a very good cooperation with different institutions. We have a very nice, very good scientists. We have a prominent position if we look at the research and science, but we don't have a good position if we would like to introduce some products. So this is a big problem for Poland right now, and we would like to solve this problem. So how we can solve this problem? Of course, we need some money, we need a team, we need a group which would like to move on. So this is one important, my reflection and also recommendation to be one of the very hard points which should be sent to the Prime Minister. They have to do something to help some institution which will indicate to develop. Second one is a problem with big data. We don't have big data. If we have some big data with different population and people in medicine, we cannot exchange this data between scientists in different countries. So big data is crucial to develop, and also we have to have a safe transfer this data, clinical data between countries, and exchange science and clinical research. Right now we have some information about European Joint Program for Rare Disease. We have information on International Program for Personalized Medicine. This is a precision medicine. We involve a surgeon, we involve medicinal products company, we involve scientists to solve some the important issue for our health system. If you look at for the regulatory system, so do we have any regulatory system in Poland? So my question is for the Ministry of Health, if you would like to be important partner for the international research and international clinic development of some new medicinal products, we have to have develop regulatory system in Poland, which would be very close to the regulatory system in European countries and also, for example, international. So I think FDA or EMA should be very close with Polish regulatory system. If you look at to the medicinal products, advanced therapy medicinal products, as you said with this nice presentation. So if you look at the stem cells, we don't know. Do we have any regulatory system to introduce something for the clinics? We don't have it there. Not yet. We have international. We don't have in Poland. So to introduce for the develop new products, medicinal products, and then to approved after that to the market, European market. So R&D, this is a crucial. If we look at to the system what we have right now, we can say Poland is one of the biggest country in European countries which have some system to produce or manufacture, big pharma in Poland, and we have international and Polish pharmaceutics. So this pharmacy develop only generics. If we talk about generics, we should talk about active substance. So can we develop active substance in Poland to be independent from other countries? Because today we have to buy it everything. So from the India, from China. So we are not independent from them. This is the first. And second one, if we would like to develop generic products, medicinal products, which is the most cheaper, we have some information that our Polish company, pharmaceutical company, could develop that. So what should be a focus for future and benefits for the patients, for our health system? In my opinion, if you look at one of the big field, this is oncology, also cardiovascular disease. We have to have some medicinal products, ATMP, or just medical devices, which we would like to use to help our health system. So our focus should be, we should concentrate to develop not only generic products, but we should focus also for the original products. So right now we don't have any original products which we would like to introduce for international market. So international market, you mean this business, because we can do something for international population, and then we can making money. Right now, Poland only can buy some. We can buy something. We can buy some medicinal products. We have to pay a lot. We don't have good original products in Poland right now. If you look at the previous research many years ago after Second War, so we said that Koprowski, this is a first product which was developed not in Poland, was discovered in Poland, and was developed in US because nobody supported that in Poland, and Koprowski have to move to US and then develop this vaccine to use in the world. So second products, we had original products for the hypertension by Professor Biniecki. He developed this product. He was a dean in the Warsaw Medical University many years ago. And these products right now doesn't exist because we have a new, better products for the use in the patient with hypertension. So I don't see any products in Poland which we can develop and introduce to international markets. So this way is very difficult because take up to 7 years, maybe more, to develop science, and after that we have to develop, of course, up to science, research, clinical trials, protocol for clinical trials, international exchange data. If you look at to the oncology, if you look at to the cardiovascular diseases more often, or rare disease, we don't have any products which we can introduce to international markets. So question is, Poland should be focused on generic products or original products. In my opinion, we have very good structure and infrastructure for the developing generic products, but we have to focus on original products. Original products, medical devices, which could be very attractive to our partners from Europe, and we can produce this product in Poland. So that's my opinion about developing new products. So if you look at to the COVID-19, this is a pandemic finished, and we developed new vaccine from different countries, AstraZeneca or Germany or US, they introduced new vaccine. Probably for future, we should see new problems, maybe new epidemic, maybe new problems with the some disaster in medicine. Collaboration or cooperation, medicine cooperation, medical devices and medical cooperation between big institutions is very important. But in my opinion, I would like to say very strongly that it is important to develop R&D in Poland to be attractive partners for some institutions in European countries like Germany, like France, like Italy, like Spain. So we have a very, very good scientists, we have a very good clinicians. We should keep them at home, and we should discuss at home how we can develop these products. So this is my opinion about different fields of medicine. We have a problem right now, and also important is law and regulatory system we should develop, which should be very, very close with the regulation. European countries we should introduce in Poland very, very fast. So if we look at we say, where is our place? What is a way for future? I spent many years in the European Medicine Agency, and if I look to the future, always I ask any politicians, any scientists, any institution, how we can develop, how we can start with R&D. This is always problem. Problem is not only our point of view, this is a problem for the money which we can introduce to develop that. We have some institution which they have some nice scientists, they have a nice product, but this product they always sell outside from Poland. If you look at the Polish pharmaceutical company, the name is Servita, if you know that they stop it after developing some research and they sell some products before start the clinical trials. So we don't have now clinical trials for phase 1, phase 2A, because this is very expensive and very big problem to organize in our medical university. I don't know why, but question is, who is responsibility for that? So easy to say, responsibility, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Science, maybe somebody else. I think important is a political decision. Political decision is the first. If we make political decision for next 10 years, and we don't look who will prime minister for future, but this program will work, we can develop very nice program, and also we can develop medicinal products, new medicinal products, or new medical devices. Today is crucial for us to be attractive for the international partners to organize big data. Machine learning is one of the program which should be developed and will be supported by the public system. If we look at to the COVID-19, we know I am responsible to carry this program. We start with the ML for the X-ray and the computer tomography system to evaluate by Silesian University how we can organize for all country system to early diagnosis of the patients before we recognize some difficult problem with the viruses. So before problems with the primary care, we have to recognize, and then we should say we have an early diagnosis to treat them, because if we don't do that, so we have a problem for future. Patients going to die. So what we can do? I think that this discussion is very important to signalize and recommend some important issue. Probably Mariusz on the finish our discussion ask us what recommendation we should do for our politics. So in my opinion, we can do everything, but we should concentrate, in my opinion, for one or two institutions in Poland, which will be very good R&D, which will be developed very good R&D system, which can introduce some new products, original products for registration, and if we receive approved, so this is a success for the Polish health system. So I look at and discuss favipiravir. This is one of the virus, this is one of medicinal product which is used by Japanese government for the treat of the COVID-19. They use for the different viruses, not COVID exactly, but they extend indication for COVID-19 4th of May this year. So right now they develop 45 or maybe more international clinical trials to phase 3 to show us that is a product is is safe, and then is efficacy for the treatment COVID-19. So Poland could be involved with this program, but I don't know why we can't organize that. In my opinion and my knowledge, Ministry of Health keep this information, and some agency has information and never indicate some institution or hospital which could be developed this product, and this should be our important issue in global clinical trials. So to finish my speech, I would like to say that we have 3 problems in Poland right now. One is the active substance. We can do that, but we don't do. So I don't know why. Second one is generics of the medicinal products is one of the infrastructure we can develop. ATMP products, so this is advanced therapy medicinal products like stem cells or different embryonic cells. We can develop too, but we don't have any regulation for that. Fourth is as a big data. We have to have a big data to cooperate with some big institution with different disease, different like oncology or rare disease, something like that. And then we should develop personalized medicine. Precision medicine is very important because my knowledge is that any countries, they develop very well. And we have a very successful treatment of the lung cancer. So especially in Germany and also US. We don't have any clinical trials right now in Poland and any medicine for that, but we have to cooperate with them to use genome patients, some products, and we should join this information to indicate how we can use personalized medicine for the treatment of the patients. This is our goal. So regulatory system is this last, which should be developed very fast, including protocol for the clinical trials, because as you know, we have of course different clinical protocols for children and adults, but always problem for pharmacy and also for scientists endpoints. Endpoints should be discussed and should be this regulation should be very restricted to help pharmacy and help also our patients. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Piotr. It was really a clear and very broad overview about our how can I say about our challenges, and we all know that the challenge has two words. It is a threat and opportunity, and you made us an excellent scale of these challenges. And I would say we are now in the way to the future. The question is, which tools do we have, which resources do we have in order to activate such opportunities you draw us as a picture, and what can we do? In my opinion, and maybe you can take later position, there are scientific relations, and there are relations with people you met during your stay in abroad. They expressed, I presume many times, their interest cooperate with you because those people know you, and the relations and the network is still there. The question is how to use it. That's it is one of the most important tools, and before we start this general discussion, I would say let's close the presentation, scientific presentation of scientific opportunities which we can offer and present to our international partners, and let's move on to the technological presentation, because in the field of technology we have many things to present, and we are worldwide known, very well known as a nation with excellent potential of creativity and ability to invent things which are not known in the world. It is disruptive technologies. Many Polish scientists are involved not only in medicine but also in defense and space, in the development of new technologies. We have here in Poland people, they are not properly involved in the establishing of Polish potential and Polish technology potential. I would like to ask my good colleague Mateusz Kierepka. He is now one of the leading person in the field of visualization and sending pictures over different channels. Mateusz Kierepka is a president now of BioMinds Technology Company, and he is a developer of Medycyna company, which is today noted at the Polish Stock Exchange in Warsaw, and is on the way to the international markets. And with this experience, I think the experience and the work of Mateusz Kierepka would be very heavy, and we will get a clear picture about our possibilities and our potential in that field. Mateusz, you have the voice.
Thank you very much. And I just made the possibility to see a presentation. Is it working?
Yes.
Thank you very much. So this will be a short presentation. I will not take too much time. I will just present what is the possibilities of our market, how we can move forward our IT merge with Medycyna. And I will present you few facts and few ideas which I think we can go forward in discussion. I founded Medycyna in 2015. It was great pleasure to meet such a good persons as Satya Nadella, current Microsoft CEO. It was also pleasure to make first in the world few medical procedures, and I had also chance to talk about those solutions in European Parliament. And in fact, focusing on this augmented reality and how to use this kind of techniques in operation room took me and my team almost 5 years to start selling this product on the market. And this is exactly what my previous friends in this talk, this panel focused. Yes, it's not so easy to start brand new technologies in Poland and in medicine everywhere. It's not only a problem in Poland, but everywhere. We have to have two things, money and of course time. They are connected, but without those two things, it is almost impossible to start brand new technology and made some progress and present those techniques on the market and start selling those tools. And we had lucky to start this process of using augmented reality in healthcare, and we had also lucky to meet the best Polish professors who help us in this process. Without this help, it will be impossible to start selling this product. So I also started right now new company, BioMinds. This new company is focused mainly on neurological diseases. And on the left side, you see my cousin. He has one of those neurological disease, and it was 3 years ago. I made a presentation what we are doing in Medycyna, and he was curious what we are doing, and I put this HoloLens helmet on his head, and in a few minutes he become smiling, and from quite not common state, he become really happy, and because I presented him a lot of new techniques and how to put in the real world some different animals. Exactly, he just put a dinosaur in front of him, and I'll be able also to present him our solar system, only using just hand and voice commands. And this 3 years ago, this moment gives me an idea to use this same techniques in rehabilitation. And exactly this is what we started this year. And this is just two possibilities which I just present you, but this is a lot of those. Why we need this kind of techniques in medicine? Because we need speed, we need to be compliant with standards, we need to use a lot of possibility, if there is possibility to use a lot of data, especially when we are talking about telemedicine. It's necessary to have a lot of data, and without availability of those data and of those techniques for the patients, it will be not so easy to implement those techniques in hospitals, but also to the patients. And it is also necessary to have those in these possibilities to help the doctors and adapt those techniques to be able to use online and offline. And telemedicine, this is what we started. Before this panel, we have a few minutes to talk, and I said that in 2008 I started this telemedicine solutions, especially I started a few medical devices. But I want to say that the three-dimensional visualization is really necessary to have those visualization as precise as it is possible, because we want to use those three-dimensional models in 3D printing, but also in robotics, in automatization. We have Polish Robin robots. They are quite similar to Da Vinci. I know that they are not exactly the same, but in some cases they are better. And what is my thinking, what we want, what will be the best to do by government? It will be nice to have something like Polish biomedical group. I know it's huge, but it will be maybe good idea to have exactly the same thing or the same company which we have in military. Mariusz said that it's nice to have good samples from military or even from toys, and I think this good sample from military, because it's a good point to have the same in the medical part. And for me, pharmacology, it will be the first step, but also cloud solution, hardware solutions, and of course imaging. And mostly this is all what I want to present. Rest of this presentation is about our company, BioMinds, but I don't want to take your time. So thank you very much, and I want to thank you also everybody on this panel. So,
Mateusz, thank you very much. You presented us the technology which in different points connect us with the technology level, not only average, but the top of the level in the world. And I am proud that we have such technologies, and I think it is necessary that we have much more of such companies like yours. So in that case, we will be we will be stronger partner, and many people would have more interest to come to Poland, and they will expect that we will surprise them with new discoveries and new technologies. The last but not least is my good friend since over 10 years. We met in Switzerland when Zbyszek was a leader of a group of very, very prestigious mixed laboratories, mixed because it is the mix of government money, it is a mix of local money and a mix of private money. And Zbigniew was a leader of the laboratory in Switzerland, private laboratory, one of the 10 most important laboratory in the world. And now we have the opportunity to have him in Poland. And I think it is not only asset, it is a great opportunity to move many technologies forward and to take advantage of his stay in Poland. Zbyszek, please tell us what is our strong side, what can we offer to the international partner? Hello, Zbigniew? Hello? Hello, Zbigniew? Are you here? Hello? Zbyszek, please switch off. Yes. Please switch off your microphone. I switch off. Okay. Please go on. Small technical problem, but I hope we will solve it in a few seconds. Yes. Zbyszek, please switch on your screen and microphone. We can see you. We can see you. Go on. Zbyszek, go on. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Small technical problem. Zbyszek, we can see you. Can you go on? Yes.
It looks like the connection is frozen, right?
Zbyszek? Zbyszek, we don't hear you. Can you switch on your microphone, please? Hello? Okay, we have Zbyszek, can you hear us? Hello? Okay, we will wait until the problem is solved. Let's go on with our panel. We have a pleasure to have a great panelists, but also in the audience we have a person which is since many years involved in invitation and attracting. I don't know how he is doing, but he is doing, and he is a master in it. He's attracting Polish scientists, Polish a top specialist of the world, and he's attracting them to Poland, and they come and they take a very important position. And I'm pleased to welcome Professor Mirosław Miller from Wrocław, and Mirek, please share with us your experience. What do you think? Are we now ready for international cooperation? What should we do? And our panelists will take position to your statement.
Okay, thank you very much, Mariusz, for inviting me to this meeting, and I will change actually my previous concept of short contribution, because I am first of all a professor of chemistry, inorganic chemistry, after the Technical University in Wrocław. So I have nothing to do with medicine,
of course,
I spent
not
professionally. So I spent many years with one leg in Germany in material science sector for energy mainly. And after coming back to Poland, so I actually started 2004, big part of my job in relationships between universities and business and industry. So it was, of course, a stage of development of our country where this collaboration was even weaker than today. It is still weak, but it was in this time was actually very, very bad situation in our country. So what I did in this time, so I actually started to think about the future university environment in Poland, using my experiences in Germany, which was of course quite different country in this point of view. We organized in Wrocław such project called Lower Silesian Center of Advanced Technologies, and it was actually a project which was devoted to identification of strong sides of Lower Silesian economy in the future. It means what could be our priority, taking into account the university potential and industry potential. So in few words, we identified, among others, we have chosen actually three sectors. It was, among other, IT technology. You all know very good that in the socialistic time, Wrocław was seat of Elvro, which was one of the largest IT companies in East Bloc. And of course, after dissolving of this company, many small and middle-sized companies were established in our city, and it is until now center of IT technologies. So it was actually my topic, but I wanted to look for some areas where IT technology are used in the specific area. And I was reading some foresight papers from European Union, and I stated that e-health, IT med area should be in the future very promising area of new technology, of new area of development, and also of business. So I have chosen this area as one of our specialization in Lower Silesia. You can really believe me that in my crisis, almost nobody knew in this time what e-health is. So it is not to understand today, but it was so. So what we did, we have organized people from medicine and from IT. It was relatively easy because medicine in big city in Poland was relatively strong, of course, in comparison to smaller cities. And IT was, as I mentioned already, very, very good developed in our city. So we started to join these two groups of experts. And after 2 years work, it was really very good cluster, we could say today, in this area, and we applied for European support, financial support, in order to organize such an IT medical hub in Wrocław. To make the story short, such technology park was established, and this technology park, as private institution, was applied for big IT center for e-health in Poland, and it was successfully built in few years, about 2011. At the same time, of course, to develop such specialization, it was for me clear that we need international cooperation, international partners. And because we had already some contacts in US, mainly through Polish successful professors and specialists in US, so we started to cooperate with them. We started to organize such conference, Veil. Names of our friends from US who were actually leaders of this initiative were Maria Siemionow, was Mike Jaszemski from Mayo Clinic, was Krzysztof Matyjaszewski also from Mayo, was Wiesław Nowinski from Singapore. He came at somewhere later, and also Andrzej Ruciński. Andrzej Ruciński, who is today with us, and Maria Siemionow were two faces of this initiative. And we started to really to link these two groups. Actually, my idea was to join American medicine, which is the #1 in the world, with Polish IT sector, which is actually the only technology sector known as good developed in US, so even in Silicon Valley. So if we want to establish real collaboration in technology, it was my thinking, my opinion in this time, we need to be able to contribute really a lot in such cooperation. In medicine, we are much weaker than US, but in IT, we have many possibilities and companies and clever people who could really contribute much in such idea. So we worked really some years together in order to develop such program, and this program was named Prescription for Poland. Yeah, prescription has two meanings in this title. It was one, of course, related to medicine, and the second one, it is a idea how to really develop a Polish specialization, yeah, medical diagnostics and so on. And you can see today that even in your presentation is much about IT medicine. How was story actually developed later? We have prepared such program. This program we developed lobby in our Ministry of Science and Health. And we developed such program Plus IP, PL US IP, and shortly before our government was changed, 2015, we even launched this program in Warsaw together with US government. But after changing government, the new government has not understand this idea. About this collaboration, and it was actually stopped. So what we do, we continue this our activity, but more bilateral between Polish and American partners. And this initiative was actually base for such organization, which was organized 2 years ago, Alliance for Innovation. AIF, where we have American colleagues and Polish colleagues as team working on transfer of ideas in many sectors, not only in medicine, but big part of this collaboration is based on medicine and IT technologies, artificial intelligence, IoT, and so on. So it means our idea from 15 years ago still is living, and I myself am involved in some startups in Wrocław, like Microscope IT. It is startup developing medical imagination today not only medical, also another images from, for instance, material science area, energy, and so on. And we are trying still to use our contacts and our relationships with American colleagues to proceed with this idea of me from this time as we started to collaborate with colleagues. So it is a short story. Today, maybe 2 sentences in addition. Today I am at university, I am involved in another health care program. It is called Green Volley, but it is not about medicine or pharma. It is about the healthy food. Because I am now a professor at the University of Life Science in Wrocław. And this program is developing new area of high quality food, of nutraceutics, of functional food. It means we are looking for a possibility to prevent, health prevent. So we don't want to use too much drugs. We want to prevent some diseases in our society. And it is very big idea, very interesting one. And nowadays we are preparing Polish program in this area for our government. So it is shortly about me, about my contribution to health in last few years. Thank you.
It was really short contribution because I know you since many years, and I know that you would need more than 2 hours to list your main activities in that area. Thank you very much for your contribution to our discussion. I would like to come back to my questions to show to our audience the difference between the cooperation with international centers and not cooperation with international centers. I would come back to my question about the death rate, because it is in the oncology, it is a quite important question. Maybe you can take position to this, that we can show a real difference, that it is that the international cooperation is not only nice to have, but it has a quite clear impact on the life or death situation in Poland. Maybe Professor Wisnerowicz can take position.
I may comment. I think all of those points raised by Professor Fyodor and Professor Miller, the very nice presentation by Professor Kerr, very important. So, if I may just quickly say from my experience, right? That such a virtual collaboration really works. No? Okay. Since this COVID situation, now we are entering this virtual reality. We are communicating with Teams, Zooms, Skype, so on and so forth, right? And it seems to be new. However, for the last 10 years, we are creating virtual networks, virtual collaboration, collaborating through such platforms, and as I was able to show you, it was really successful, grateful, and very satisfactory and productive. And I think this is something that we might propose as a pay for the future, right? How to achieve some goals, because okay, so we have 2 strategies, right? Either we build one institute, right, that will be responsible for, let's say, solving all the problems, or we create virtual networks, as an example I showed you, and Professor Fyodor, I think very intelligently and smartly pointed to that direction. And also Professor Miller and Professor Krepp, and we discussed it also with Dr. Sawiński. Not only in Poland, but throughout the world, we don't have all the expertise in one place, right? So if I may propose and share my experience of examples I presented before, what really works is to create virtual institutes. And we have this tool, okay? Virtual institutes, and Professor Miller is here, and EIT Plus is responsible for launching virtual institutes of biotechnology. And we have funding on this, right? We have $500 million zlotys allocated for this project from the last European Union project, one for POI, right? So we have, on one hand, okay, I presented an example that such a virtual collaboration really works. We need to acknowledge that we don't have a lot of smart people in one place, but now we have means of communications. It doesn't matter that we sit in Poznan, we sit in Warsaw, we sit in Szczecin or Boston or Houston or New York, right? Because we can successfully realize projects that actually deliver something. Not only publications, but also we are now in the process of developing drugs or diagnostic tools based on those proteogenomic discoveries. So what I make a long story short, if I may propose those virtual institutes, right, it's an excellent idea. It's great, and it is fantastic. So on one hand, we have now Professor Miller present here, right? And I know that EIT Plus is responsible for coordinating those virtual institutes, and we have $500 million zlotys allocated from this project. So let's try. Let's see how that works, right? We don't have in Poland, and it's not that in Poland is somehow worse, but even in the US or in Europe, those virtual groups, virtual networks works the best for some projects, okay? Some projects, of course, need to be realized in the laboratories, in a small groups, and it works, right? Some larger projects, especially the projects which require interdisciplinary expertise, right? When we need to put together medical doctors, biologists, right? Computer engineers, bioinformaticians, it would be very difficult, even if we can, of course, envision to create such an institute. Santa Fe would be one of the examples, but it would be very difficult to put such expertise in one place. So simply saying and analyzing, I fully agree with, again, Professor Fjoder. We have Professor Miller, who is in charge and then who is highly involved in this initiative. And we have also people who will be interested in participating in developing such a virtual institute. And if I may say, and I show an examples of successful implementation of such a collaboration, that we have people here in Poland, in Poznan, in Warsaw, in Switzerland, right, in Spain, Brazil, and the US, and then we can deliver a project in 2-3 years period, 2-3 years time frame, right, with high impact publication in Cell, right, and even I'm very proud that our paper, which I coordinated, was asked to. We were asked by Cell to produce the video abstract. So one paper in Cell is selected to produce video abstract, and we did it. So it's doable. We have resources. We have Professor Miller here, who is involved in this initiative. Professor Fjoder postulated and posted some very interesting points and highlighted some critical issues. And I think from some projects, right, and I showed you example that it works, it would be of high interest to our country to develop such virtual institutes. And as I showed you, here in Poland, we can not only be a part of small part of kind of a chain of whatever scientific production chain, right? But delivering, I don't know, tumor tissue, right? Mm-hmm. Not only. The project I showed you, the results of this initiative were not based on the fact that we were just simply delivering tumor tissue from patients, right? Okay, but most importantly, we basically created a new idea and then heavily worked under my coordination to deliver a project proposing actually on showing and proving a very novel concept how cancer is created. Simply saying, in my opinion, if we want to move forward with international collaboration, one way to go, because, okay, I'm not saying this is the only way to go, but one way to go would be to create such a virtual institute. If in Poland we don't have smart people in one city, in one institute, right? But if we create, okay, a platform, then we can put together a virtual institute with collaborators from Poland, from Poznan, okay, from, let's say, Warsaw, Męski, University of Medical School, and other places, and collaborators from the Europe and from the US can work together virtually, and COVID situation enable development of such technologies. I provided you with an example that it works, and such projects can be made and can produce results that are published in top journals, right? Mm-hmm. So if I just last sentences, I think that what Professor Miller is responsible for, and I believe in charge, and we have $500 million for that allocated from OER, could be used to create such a virtual institute. Let's give it a chance and let's see how it works. And it would be great if we can create such a number of institutes that would be virtual. And I have some discussions previously with Professor Zelic and others because they were creating those institutes with different kind of perspective. And I think this is right and this is correct, right? One way would be to create one institute in one place that we have great, brilliant minds in one place under one roof, right? And that's one strategy. But the other strategy is also valid, all right? Let's give a chance, and I give you an example that it works. Let's create a virtual institute. Let's get some money, right? And enable people to work, right, remotely from different places, right? So then we'll have two initiatives. We'll have institutes that are being Professor Zelic of FLP created, right? And also European Union created some of them through teaming projects or twinning. Well, twinning is different, but teaming. But I think now would be, let's give a chance, okay? Let's see how it works. I might be wrong. I gave you an example. It worked. Let's try.
Okay. Maciej, thank you very much for your contribution. It is, I think, the idea of virtual institute goes excellent along with the fostered idea in this conference that we establish a center for implementations. And it goes really very well along, because this we have a death valley between something what we have from the scientific side and between the industry. And I think in the medical area, it is the only idea we can foster something and achieve the goals for international cooperation. Virtual Institute is a good idea, and I would say, please prepare when you have. What is your opinion? Everybody which is taking part at this panel, please send me your in points, not the long text, really in points. Your idea, what should be the function of this institute? What would be the goals, and we will include it as a proposal in the after conference document. I think it goes very well with the plans and with the idea of this Schumann conference. And you allow me, it is a very special situation. You allow me to welcome a person which got the connection from very far, from Boston and New Hampshire. The Professor Tadeusz Kochański, which is representing MIT absolvents, MIT Alumni Association. He is now with us, and we will ask him for his opinion. What would he see as from his point of view? What can we do? What are our opportunities? What are our chances to cooperate with international institutions and international organizations? Maybe, dear Tadeusz, maybe you can answer us this question, and maybe you can have a piece of advice for us. What should we follow?
Dzień dobry, panie. Przepraszam, techniczne problema. Two kinds of technical problems. One was getting connected, and then the second was getting connected to the wrong session.
Okay.
But now I'm on the right section. I'm on the right session. The model you want, of course, is CERN, and the Large Hadron Collider in particular, which is an enormous scale project, which is so big that it has teams of people devoted to individual things that they call detectors, which are in fact themselves enormous efforts. And these things are virtual because they have to be, because they're participants from hundreds of different universities and institutions that are involved. And they meet regularly on a virtual basis. What you need is the impetus that drives that. You need the goal that can be focused on by people. And of course, the example of the Large Hadron Collider, specific to high energy physics, but there are many, many possible things where you can create a virtual institute, not a generic virtual institute, because I don't think anybody really wants to deal with a generic virtual institute. They want a specific virtual institute. So if you're going to create a virtual institute, pick a target and pick a specific set of tasks and allow them to get organized on their own. Everybody can see people who are, let's say, the leaders in that particular area, and those people can basically pick the other people that they know well to start the cohesion of the process. You have 3 or 4 of these little task groups, each of which has its own leaders. Then you'll have enough of a critical mass. So if you imagine where CERN was 50 years ago, there was nothing. Now there's a giant hole in the ground under Geneva, basically, which extends into France, and which has itself probably one of the largest collections of computers in the world, one of the largest collections of high-speed data links in the world, all because of the task of high-energy physics. You don't need all that, but you do like to have something. So a number of years ago, Roshinsky and I, with some people from the Central Mining Institute in Katowice, put together something called Project Pluto, which was to take the experimental coal mine, Barbara, experimental coal mine, and use that experimental facility on a global scale. So we proposed a series of various kinds of instruments, some of which would be on robot platforms, some of which were fixed, which all would bring together data from that mine to places around the world. In New Hampshire, we were thinking certainly as one of them. My brother at the time was at Oxford. We were thinking of bringing it to Oxford as well. And allow people to have an interaction with the data, in addition to having interactions, of course, with people. And I think you could do something like that. That's just, it was an example relevant 10 years ago, but you could find a certain like that, a target that everybody could see a benefit to it. And it would be, in the case of the Project Pluto, the virtual mine Barbara was a benefit to the United States. It turned out this whole thing didn't actually come to fruition, but because it's very difficult to do experimental explosions in coal mines in the United States, but Poland had the ability to do them. And so this would have been one area where this kind of thing would be unique. There are undoubtedly many others. So that would be my suggestion, just to take advantage of the kind of infrastructure that already exists and find something that everybody finds genuinely a feature that they could benefit from. Plenty of people in the United States with Polish backgrounds who would love to participate.
Okay, thank you, Tadeusz, for your contribution.
Dziękuję bardzo for you inviting me to participate.
It is my pleasure, Tadeusz, that you have time for us, and I know that you have you don't speak Polish, but you have a great and big Polish heart. Thank you very much.
My Polish has improved over the course of this last Schumann Institute thing compared to where it was regularly, because normally it would be good enough to meet with some of my Polish background cousins and things like this at somebody's wedding, and most recently, unfortunately, at funerals. And most of us only speak a handful of words, the best of which are "nie może dobrze po polsku."
Okay, Tadeusz, it is not a problem. We all talk quiet, understandable English, and we will come to terms, I would say. Okay.
I'm sorry I cannot be, at social distancing 2 meters instead of being at 4,500 kilometers, 6,000 kilometers, something like that. Yeah, maybe 6,000 kilometers away from all you people. But maybe we'll get together sooner or later. Yeah.
You are keeping very far distance. Maciej, please.
Yeah, I would like to have a quick comments. Thank you so much. It was very, very, very good. because computer scientists worked like this for over 40 years, right? And then, let's say, starting from some CERN and early days of internet, it was such a virtual networks were typical for computational scientists, right? And GitHub, as a recent development, is a very good example of such a collaborating platform to develop excellent projects. And I'm surprised that, not surprised, but maybe it would be worth, because biomedicine is always a bit more conservative, but to create something like that for biomedicine, right? That biomedicine, we still work in silos. We still have this concept that we need to create one institute under one roof, and then we have this optimistic idea that under one roof we put together brilliant minds that will deliver great projects. And except for very few institutions in the US, like Salk, Whitehead, and a few others, there are very few examples that works. So coming back to my previous statements, such a virtual institutions or virtual collaboration in biomedicine, which is still very new, but again, as Professor Feder was saying, Professor Miller and yourself, let's give it a chance, right? It's new, right? But let's try. It worked for computational science, okay? And again, we have a lot of great institutions, but very few in biomedicine field were able to congregate great minds under one roof, right? I don't know, Whitehead, maybe Salk, maybe Stanford to some extent. But I'm still a kind of young person and unexperienced, so this works for particular projects. But again, if we could possibly create virtual collaboration across institutions within one country, or across institutions, across countries in Europe, or across Atlantic, this would really be great. And I'm very thankful and grateful to Mariusz for giving you an opportunity to present examples that we work that way for the last 10 years on a number of projects, and were successful. Okay,
Thank you, Maciej. Thank you. My question to Professor Feder. Piotr, what is your statement to these proposals? And maybe you can tell us from your experience, what is the difference between the level we achieved in medicine in different areas like oncology or cardiology before cooperation with Western scientific centers, and after? Do you see any difference?
Yes, so I would like to refer to your first question. So we should be dependent or independent from the development of some research and cooperation of industry. So first of all, I would like to say that my opinion, as any countries on the world, we have to develop R&D. If you have a very strong R&D and you have leaders and scientists around that, so then we can develop something. So for example, we can give money, public money, to develop grants, international grants to cooperate. So if we send some scientists and researchers to the US, Germany, France, any countries, and they back to Poland, they have to have a place to develop that. They have to have a place to work. Today, if we send somebody anybody to any places, the best places. They work with Nobel Prize people. They back to Poland. They have no place to do that. So that's problem in Poland. In Poland, we have to have a strong R&D system, which is based on some institution. This is the first one. Second one, if you'd like to develop and introduce on the market some products, like any products, so global products. So we have to have a good connection with industry. So industry have to support with their research and develop. If you look at the medicine, if you look to the medicine, oncology, cardiovascular system, stents or something like that. So developing this system is possibility only if we have a researcher, we have a good place to develop this system. So I would like to strongly say we don't have right now R&D, really true R&D. This is a trap, because trap is if we send some scientists like surgeons, like chemistry to different countries, they have a good experience, they develop something inside where have a grant, and they cannot to continue. So my suggest to split two different things. One is the health system, and second one is science. If you would like to join that, so we have to have a grants, big grants, which is supported by national foundation, by governments, to develop focused product. For example, we have a generic, we have original products, we have a medical device. We would like to develop new technology, high-tech implementation, something like ML or something like that. So we have to now develop R&D. So then government have to pay for the best researcher to send them to different good places to learn, and after that back to develop and continue this research. That's my opinion. If you would like to really place, if we look for some place for the Poland in the international network, we have to do that. This is the first. No way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mariusz, if I could add 2 sentences.
Yes,
I heard now Piotr Fiedor. It was exactly our thinking 12 years ago by establishing EIT Plus in Wrocław, to make such open place for people who come back to Poland and they don't like to come back to university, because it is no good place in Poland to attract these people, yeah? And it was the reason why we established during 3 years big network of Polish scientists abroad and big network of Polish young scientists coming back to Poland. It was very fast process, which showed that necessity of such places which we don't have in Poland.
Thank you, Mirosław. I know that you informed me about this idea many years ago after we met us first time in Switzerland. Tadeusz Kochański is asking the voice.
Yeah, I just like to suggest that this idea that you have to depend on the government to do it is probably anachronistic. The government was the source of all that kind of funding, let's say 70 years ago or something like that, when the War II ended and there was no other money for all these kind of things. But today, there are private individuals who have the amount of money that some small countries don't have. Can name a couple of them. And these people would be very interested in contributing if you could give them the right kind of vehicle. So, and it doesn't have to be that they know anything about the field necessarily. One of the most successful recent examples of such thing is a guy who used to sell carpets in Los Angeles. He made a lot of money, and then he decided to take some work that was developed at the Whitehead Institute and sort of spin it out to make a institute under his own name. His name was Eli Broad, and we now have the Broad Institute, which is worth several $100 million. It has a very nice looking building in Cambridge, and they have a cooperation between MIT, Harvard, and Massachusetts General Hospital and Brigham and Women's Hospital, which are two Harvard teaching hospitals. They're people who are on the faculty of all those different institutions who are also part of the Broad Institute, but there are other people who are just Broad Institute people who are professional researchers. And then there's students who come from these universities and stuff like this. This money was just given, it happens to be located across the street from MIT, but it has really this cooperative nature of multiple entities. Another example on an even more virtual nature is the Howard Hughes Medical Institute, which has a piece of itself in Boston, but has researchers all over the country and perhaps around the world, based on the money originally from Howard Hughes. So you have, for instance, Mr. Bezos at Amazon. You have Mrs. former Bezos, who is now worth about $40 billion. And you have, Mr. Musk. You have, you have a whole bunch of potential people. If you gave them the right, interaction vehicle that they could see something as a crowning achievement of themselves, in a sense. So if Professor Miller's entity was proposed to one of these kind of rich people, and there's some rich people in Poland as well, but not, just looking at the really rich people in the United States, there's probably $400-500 billion sitting there waiting for somebody to tap it. You just have to write the right plan and teach them that this is where their money should go, or a small fraction of their money for that matter.
I think, if I may say, I think Professor Kochański put it in the most beautiful way and the more concrete way, as you can imagine, meaning that first we need to create a structure and convince people that this structure will deliver, and then we will get the money, right? So it's not a problem that we need to first ask for the money for some whatever virtual concept, but we need to create an infrastructure that would convince people with money to invest. And then I'm repeating myself and finishing. I think that the idea of those virtual institutes, and obviously Boston is also a good example, because all those institutions having such a brilliant scientists under roofs of few buildings create a partners organization, right? And MIT, Massachusetts General Hospital, Harvard, and Broad also work under one umbrella somehow and collaborate. MIT Koch Institute for Cancer. So if we simply saying, and not to make too long my story, I strongly believe that such a virtual collaboration and creating such a virtual platform, being this Poland, or being this for European Union, or even being such a virtual institute that will cross all borders, will highly convince investors to put money on it. Because it's not about having a building with roof, right? But it's about having brains willing to work together. So if we create a virtual institute and get together, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, 50 good people, being in Poland, being in Germany, European Union, Australia, and United States, this will be highly convincing for investors or our granting agencies to invest.
Yeah.
And finishing, I had the privilege 2 years ago to participate in a symposium or gathering of scientists from. We have about 20 million Polish people spread around the world. They really want to work.
Yeah, and they have a great
work to come back to Poland. And as Professor Kochański, also Federer, Professor Miller said, they have no place to come back. All right. And such a virtual institute would be for them a great opportunity to work for Poland, right? In Poland, even staying in Australia, in the US, or in European Union. We have 20 or 30 million people, very good smart scientists that would love to contribute to the country, but they do not have means to do it. So again, repeating myself and finishing my extended statement, creation of such a virtual institute that would put together people from first Poland, Europe, or outside US, Australia, other places, would be, I think, a very good idea to start, and then I believe money will follow.
Thank you, Maciej. Your statement and your opinion is for us a road sign, and we will go that way. Professor Fedor, you wanted to take position.
I would like to refer to the Tadeusz Kochański, what he said. So I think there's a infrastructure, of course, in US is different in Poland and European countries. So in Poland, we don't have any private university and very rich people which can support that. So I hope so that for future maybe it's possibility. I spent a few years in Boston and also in New York in Columbia University. So one of the fifth of the best university in US in the world. So I would like to say this is a private university. This is a private university, and regulation in US is different than European countries, and especially in Poland. Because if, for example, if somebody would like to give private money to develop research, in US is of course accepted. In Poland, we don't have rich people which would like to support that. So this is a long time experience, cooperation with industry, cooperation with the industry which would like to use public money. So if I said we have a government money, I don't think about money for government Polish money. So I think government money, European money, which is coming. So this money come to Poland. We should use this money, and we should put to the one of big. We should focus to the one good, for example, virtual institution. We would like to cover some R&D system to give a place to the people which would like to come back or which would like to start with the new idea. So first is idea, second money. So then we go to on the market, which we pay for the idea. We go to the market and we could develop the industry. So this is no way. We have to use this way. So this way was a very good example in the US. We know this way. So how we can adopt this strategy on structure in Poland? Always problem is money. So now if we have a government money, European money, and you would like to invest with some good project. So in medicine, I said medicine. So first we have to have a good place when we start with some project. This project should be developed with different countries, and after that people have to back and have to have a place in Poland. That's my suggestion to split some different your question. We should be independent by R&D from the international system and dependent with international system to cooperation to different research and also clinics. So that is very important. For example, if big company, big pharma would like to do clinical trials, for example, a multi-center clinical trial study, we don't have study phase 1 in Poland. So they look for some places outside from Poland. So we have to do that. If we don't do so, we have any chance to be partner for not only industry, but also for the big university. Thank you.
Piotr, thank you very much. Advocem wants to take a position. Tadeusz, please.
You see this, what I'm holding in my hands?
Partly, something...
Okay. It is an aluminum tube.
It's a tube?
Is a tube.
It's an aluminum tube about 1/2 meter, a little less than 1/2 meter long. Specifically, maybe 40 centimeters. Okay. So this is a tube of which there are, very similar to this, many thousands of these things attached to a very large instrument, probably in some sense the largest instrument ever created by the human race, the Atlas detector of the Large Hadron Collider in Geneva. Okay. This thing was made in Cambridge, Massachusetts, in the basement of what used to be the old Cambridge Electron Accelerator in Harvard Square, okay, by something called the Boston Muon Consortium, right? The equipment that it took to make this tube was in the range of a few $100,000, mostly a very big chunk of granite that's very incredibly flat, and you can suspend it on some compressed air. But what it does is it detects cosmic ray or man-produced muons by passage through the tube, producing a small little pulse of electricity. To the other end of this thing is connected a large amount of electronics, which eventually ends up producing a track of a muon that comes from the center of the Large Hadron Collider and passes all the way outward tens of meters through various structures. All right. The reason I bring this up is because the people who built this thing obviously had a great deal of interest in the Large Hadron Collider. They're all very deeply embedded in it, particle physicists, but no one can have another Large Hadron Collider. So when you leave Geneva and you go back to Cambridge, well, you can't build yourself a Large Hadron Collider, but you can build a facility where you can make pieces that could go to the Large Hadron Collider. Mm-hmm. And the point is, the amount of money involved is not that much. Now, if you had to dig a hole under Harvard Square, that would be expensive, but there's no reason why they had to do that. They could have done it in the suburbs somewhere in a warehouse. It just happened that they had a facility available for free because history. So what I'm saying is the amount of money that you need to trigger this process is not a large amount. When Whitehead gave the money, he was a cosmetics manufacturer, incidentally. When Whitehead gave the money to start the Whitehead Institute, which then spun off the Broad Institute eventually, he gave a bunch of money, which was significant, but not earth-shattering. It just turned out that because he was able to initiate a project that then became available as a vehicle to essentially decode 1/3 of the human genome. So the Whitehead Institute spawned a section of it that was devoted to the genomics process, and they ended up developing tools to essentially decode the human genome. The leader of that project was not a biologist. He was a mathematician, and he's now the director of the Broad Institute. Okay. So the point is, it doesn't take a lot of money from a government source to start with. They ended up with a fair amount, but you can start with something fairly small. But what you need is something that's focused, that you can say this is unique to Poland, or maybe in the case of the the Boston Muon Consortium, there were 4 or 5 other entities like that around the world making muon detectors as part of the Atlas experiment. So find something like that, something that you can say, this is unique. It's in Wrocław, it's in Gdańsk, it's in Bydgoszcz, it's in Warszawa, it's in Krakow. It's anywhere in Poland, and it offers something that not only people from Poland can see as beneficial, but people from around the world can see as beneficial. And then start building from that. Don't try to create something from scratch, but in 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 years, you can build up to the point where then you can go and make a petition for a participation in a European framework program or something like that, or some sort of a CERN, for that matter, has an interest in some bio-related things because of their tremendous computational power. Any number of targets, but the point is, find a target, find an investor, not a government. Find an investor to seed capital the thing. Give them their name on the building if you want.
It's a beautiful comment. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for jumping in. I think it's a beautiful comment, and I think what also Professor Fiero was mentioning of importance will be to build infrastructure which will enable to do stuff, and then we will see what we want to do, right? Because if we provide good people with good ideas, infrastructure or platform to execute, they will come and the money will follow, right? And I think that EIT Plus is a beautiful example. It's a very good and excellent place. We tried. I was fortunate to be a beneficiary from this welcome grant from FFP that was aimed to attract people from abroad who spent a significant number of years, right? And then all of them to set up their own laboratories, but it didn't really work very well, meaning that this program didn't really succeeded, right, in getting, right? And then we have now 20 or 30 million Polish people living abroad. Some of them would like to come back, some of them will not, but they would like to work with Poland, right? They are really eager to keep or to work in Poland, and again, repeating myself, I strongly believe that creation of such a virtual institute, 1 or 2 or 5 or whatever, will enable or provide a platform for people in Poland or people outside Poland, right, to work together, right, and deliver and execute on a wonderful projects. And once we have such a platform, money will follow, because money always follow great ideas and good minds and good people. So that's as I said, 5 years ago with few colleagues, we created an institute, a non-public institute in Poland, which is unique because usually we have public institutions in Poland, right? So as Fiero said, that the private institutions in the US, well, they are not private. They are not non-public, which is different. They are based on a legal form as a non-profit foundation. And the difference between private company or non-profit foundation is that basically you are not a kind of working for profit. It's a non-profit institutions. So we created with colleagues a non-profit institution as a foundation 5 years ago, which were able to attract US money. So we don't spend a single zloty from Polish public money. So all our funding comes from the US. So I was joking that if Professor Kochański wonder where his tax money goes, some of them go to Poland. Right? But we spend them for the good use, right? So it works. So again, I'm strongly believer in a virtual collaboration, virtual networks. This COVID situation also facilitated such an interaction. Now we are, instead of sitting in Warsaw in some nice place and finishing this evening in some nice restaurants, we are meeting over Team, which also is great. Okay, so it works. So let's give it a chance, right? We're not gonna compete by any means with public universities, by public institutions, with Polish Academy of Science and so on and so forth, right? But if we, on a very small scale, create a few such virtual institutes that will allow people from Poland, or especially from abroad, to contribute to Polish science, I think we will deliver something great for them to actually work for Poland from abroad. So that's what so if we create such a platform as a pilot project on a small scale, let's start with, I don't know, 3, maybe 5. All right, let's not be over. Let's say, let's create few.
Let's start with one. Let's start with one as a pilot project.
We already started.
Do it right.
One works. This institute produced already published, I don't know how many papers in Cell in Nature. So we did it. We made it. It works.
Okay. Gentlemen, it is slowly, it comes the time when we should finish our really very exciting and very interesting meeting. When you want to add maybe your final conclusions, it is the time now. I would say only that that idea of virtual institute, I think it is excellent. Please use me as a contact point. Send me every your ideas, your thoughts. Please don't do it in text. Do it in points. I will share it with other members of this panel, and we should start discussing. When we have the idea, we should start discussing what should be the subject of the. And what should be the goal of the first project, and it would take the time, but you have excellent relations, and please tell those. Go on,
Marius. Who's paying for this Microsoft Teams meeting? Who's
nobody?
Paying?
Nobody is. It is bottom-up idea.
No. But somebody is paying to have the network available, right?
No, it is a different way. I cannot say because I am not allowed, but it is we have the opportunity to use this tool.
Okay, so then the key thing to do is to set up a series of these kind of meetings, maybe once a month. For the first few months until things start to gel together, and I think we should think about how to do that so that by the next time we have a somewhat of a concrete proposal laid out of how to proceed.
I think it is a brilliant idea when we don't have connection through Teams. So we can meet on Skype or we can meet on Zoom. It is not a problem. We will find the channel. When we want to cooperate, we will find a way.
Okay. Well, then I would say to everyone, I think we have a plan, and we just have to execute.
Yes.
I think we should make a goal of having. By the end of the summer, maybe something, written on paper or virtual paper that we can present to various potential funding sources.
Yeah, yeah, excellent, very good. Maybe some final conclusions? Joe?
If I may say something. Oh, I'm sorry.
Mateusz.
I'm sorry, just one sentence. Because we have already this program of virtual institutes, right? And we have money allocated. And Professor Miller is here. So we are very fortunate to have his advice. Because such a program has been already made, meaning that we have $500 million to create such a virtual institutes. So the money are allocated. So the question is how we can move on.
Maciej, you have the team, and it is the next step how to organize the team and to organize the rules of this team to conduct this project. It will be your role as a project director. We will support you.
I'm not sure I'm the best person, and you are guys the most experienced. I'm just, a youngster, a little bit cocky, but again, we have already planned for those virtual institutes in Poland, which was written in the last European Union program, and the money delivered to Poland in the 4UR, and there is $500 million sitting in one drawer, which is devoted to create such a virtual institute. So we have money. We just need to think how to wisely spend them, right? So the money are there, idea is there. Just
the people are there.
You, the most experienced colleagues. I'm just, I'm too young to be, but
Piotr, please.
So my recommendation, my comments for this very nice discussion, what is a national interest in Poland? So national interest in Poland should be developed API, I mean active substance, for not only generic and also for original medicinal products. This is the first one. Second one, we should develop also ATMP products, big data, and a focus should be, and money should be, Prime Minister recommend for the develop R&D. R&D is crucial to develop some program for rare disease in Poland and also for personal medicine. So this is a very important if we join with the regulatory process, regulatory system as law. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I would say I expect your short points. What have we to do? And we have appointed the next meeting in 1 month. We will conduct it. I will take care, and we meet in 1 month, and we will look for the next task. Mateusz, the final conclusion.
Yeah, and maybe also Professor Mirosław Miller will also add final thoughts. Just one. Definitely I will help in this kind of virtual meeting rooms, also in virtual or augmented reality. It's no problem for me to help exactly in those techniques and this kind of functionality.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mirek, do you want to have the final word?
Maybe one sentence. So I would like to join to this discussion Alliance for Innovation organization, because it is a very good tool, already good established, and building these bridges between US and Poland. And my idea from many years is to look for smart specialization between US and Poland in using artificial intelligence and IoT for medicine. It means diagnostic, medical devices and such things, because it is actually the future of medicine, how to use IT in medicine. One example from Poland is a company which was also born in EAT+. It is Infermedica, and everybody from Poland probably knows already this fantastic global company using IT for medical device diagnosis. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, gentlemen, it was my pleasure. It was my utmost pleasure to meet you, to moderate that meeting. And in the name of Professor Zbigniew Krysiak, in the name of everybody who was involved in preparation of Schumann Festival, in the name of the president and board members of the Schumann Festival, I want to say thank you very much for your presence. Thank you very much for excellent discussion, for very future promising conclusions, and I would say have a good night, and thanks a lot, and to see you in the 1 month. And Mateusz Kierepka, we will take care about technical side of our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for organizing.
Dziękuję.
Excellent.
Dziękuję bardzo.
Dziękuję bardzo. Do widzenia.
Do widzenia. Bye.
Do widzenia.